I don't know what some attacker would do with a Notepad plus denial of service vulnerability. Like, what are they going to achieve?
Problem is, one tool gives you severity as a critical, and other tool will give you severity as low.
I don't think business owners want to kind of read a lot of jargon like
Yeah.
IDOR and SQL injection and cross-site
Yes.
request forgery and serialization, DSL. I don't think they
They
want to
don't
deal with all of that.
understand this. I was just joined NII, and after 6 months, they told me that you will lead this team. So I was okay. So for the first time, it was a five team members. All of a sudden, they asked for this requirement for 20 people, 20 analysts. AI is not a threat for us; it is a co-pilot, and
Hi,
hello.
Shalaka.
Hello, KK.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Very well, very well. I'm excited to talk to you today because we are going to dive into the subject of vulnerability management, which
Yes.
includes vulnerability prioritization, which
Yes.
is something that we are doing a fair bit of work to automate at Transilience. But before we get into all of that, let's understand a bit more about you, where your journey started, how did you get into security,
Of course.
and what are you doing now?
Of course. So, from beginning, after my graduation, I was all the time interested in software testing. So, I did my software testing certification, and I started my career as a QA analyst. After few years, I heard something about security testing, which got me interested, and I was curious to know that what is security testing. So I did my research, and I joined one of the companies which had this requirement, and there I learned so much about security testing, like vulnerability assessment and penetration testings for web applications, mobile applications, APIs, and then also doing ISO 27001 audits. So I was enjoying this part of my job, and I wasn't sure that I will continue this journey, but 7 years till now, I am doing it and I am really enjoying this. So after that, even I did SOC also, one of the companies which I was working with. After that, I joined NII and I applied what I learned, like for VAPT for applications. And also, NII taught me about leadership skills, because why I'm saying this, in one of the banking projects, I got 20 people like under me. So doing work and having 20 people is what and I build up my capabilities of leadership. So yeah, that's how my cybersecurity journey began.
On the leadership piece, it's very interesting. I'm not sure we did anything special or specific over there, Shalaka, because I was analyzing our management programs and our leadership training programs, and I realized that there were a lot of gaps there. In fact, we've just
Yes,
started doing that over the last 1 year.
yes,
So, and I was telling one of the senior leaders in the company that, we make people team leads, we make them managers, we give them team members, but we never actually train them and empower
yes,
them and tell them
yes,
what this new role means.
yes,
So suddenly to move from where you are 100% IC to where now you have to be maybe 50% IC, 50% managing the team, and in the team success is your success, all of those concepts we actually were
exactly.
not bringing to light, and now we've started doing that. So we've got a middle management training program and leadership training program going for the last 12 months. So it's very nice of you to say that the company did anything over there, but I think it was more like we threw you into the deep end of the pool and he said, now go figure how do you manage a team of 20 people. How did you handle that challenge?
Project was having so many requirement for people, for only
Hmm.
people. I don't know why, because the team we were there working, we were doing good, and I don't know why all of a sudden they asked for this requirement for 20 people, 20 analysts. So, and suddenly, I was just joined NII, and after six
Hmm.
months, they told me that you will lead this team. So I was okay. So for the first time, it was a five team members, and I was okay with it. But after that, suddenly they told us that we are having 20 more people, and you will be the team lead, and they also did me a project manager. So that was a challenging role which I had, and that project I left. So it was actually very chaos, because you are handling so many things in the at a time. You are handling their VDS, this VDI access. Then you are doing your work also, pen testing, then reporting, then check their reports also. So it was very overwhelming for me. But yeah, this has built my capabilities to become a leader.
Good. Sometimes the best way to learn is to just put yourself into that situation
Yes,
and then
yes,
work
definitely.
work as hard as you can.
Of course.
Great. Now coming to the vulnerability management piece, right? What does this entail? Like for many people, it is simply just you run a scan, a tenable scan or a Qualys scan,
Mm.
or on the application side, use burp suite testing, conduct your application security test, black box, gray box, whatever, and then you have a bunch of issues, and then you throw that over the wall to the infrastructure team or the application team or the product team, DevOps team, whatever it's being called, and then it's their headache. What is the whole vulnerability management art and science about?
So, vulnerability management is a continuous process where you identify your assets, evaluate risks, and then prioritize vulnerabilities and validate whether they are in a patching or not. So these are the stages. You discover your assets, you then assess, then you do the scanning, like using tools like Snake or Qualys or Vives Pro. And after that, you prioritize the vulnerabilities in seeing what is the criticality of the system, and if it is in a production environment, or is it internet facing, or it is an internal system. So
Hmm.
you decide whatever the system is, and then you prioritize the vulnerabilities. Then you communicate with the stakeholders for the remediation and mitigation. You do the follow up and do the validation if these vulnerabilities are patched or not. This is a headache for validation process, because the mistake for vulnerability management is for if uh, teams are not patching it regularly, then vulnerabilities are increasing day by day. So you get
Sure.
10K thousand findings, or more than
Yeah.
10K thousand findings daily. So it is a headache to manage those vulnerabilities. And
Yes.
of course, you get false positives. So you have to work really hard to know which are the false positives, which are the true positives. So it is really very difficult to, juggle with IT teams and this vulnerability management tools.
Yeah, I remember, back in the day when I used to be doing this stuff myself, I remember cases where we submitted gray box application testing reports and the team said we fixed it. And then when we went deeper and said, okay, how have you fixed it? Basically, what they had done was that when we said, I mean, this was back maybe 15 years back. So SQL injection, 1 on 1 equal to 1, that kind of stuff used to work.
Hmm.
And so we said, that's what we found. We found 1 on 1 equal to 1. So what they had done was that they had blacklisted exactly one or one equal to one. Then we started giving more detailed recommendations that, it is a single quote and this equal
Yes.
to and all. So then they use the blacklisting approach that
Uh,
these are the characters. So it was a period of time over which the libraries became mature and, cross-site scripting, right? Alert, okay, alert.
mm,
That exact string they will block and they'll say, no,
yes,
this is fixed. So they obviously developers at that time did not have the. Do you find
of
now
course.
similar very silly stuff, or it is now
No, no,
not
no. I
not the
think
case anymore, right?
no, no, no. It is not because
Yeah.
I think whoever I have contact with, they are already know with this thing that these are the vulnerabilities and these are the patches we need to implement. Now this time you pressure that okay, I have to make this person understand that this is the vulnerability and this is what you have to patch, so this doesn't
Hmm.
happen right now.
Right, right. And on the false positive situation, how do you actually do this? Like, it's also very difficult to scale, right?
Yes,
Validation of false
yes, yes,
positives.
yes. So
So give me
basically,
some examples of what you found and how do you handle it?
basically these tools give you parameters. Like if you have SQL injection in your application, and the tool is crawling through your application, and it gives you the parameter that they have entered in the application, and you go to that POC and check for that, and if it is exploitable, then it is a true positive, and if it is not, then it's not like it is false positive.
Right. What are some of the tools that you have used to help with prioritization?
Earlier we were using Vulkan. It was not helping so much with the details. So we switched it to Viper and Viz Pro. And I think these tools are giving so much information, like what is this asset, where it is located, and which team is the owner, like that. And also the CVEs which we are getting newly ingested, like they are also showing there. So also we can integrate all the platforms like Qualys, NetSparker, and Sneak, of course. So that is how you do the prioritization. But the problem is one tool gives you severity as a critical, and other tool will
Mm.
give you severity as low. So these are the policies which you have to crack, which
Mm.
depends on the system's criticality, where you will need to see if it is internet facing, if it is internal, or if it is in a production environment. Then
Yeah.
that is how you prioritize your vulnerabilities and share it to the stakeholders.
And how good are these tools, Viper, etc., at correlating asset criticality with vulnerability data? Do you have to feed in the asset criticality? Do they auto discover and auto predict the criticality of the asset?
Yes. So you need to mention what is this asset actually. So if your asset is internal, then you have to mention that it is internal. Then likewise, it will give you the severity for the finding.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I mean, if you have to do that kind of heavy lifting, then I'm not sure what. Yeah, there is asset discovery for sure is a key issue.
Yes.
Inaccuracy of asset management databases is an unsolved problem.
Yes.
But if you have to kind of manually update this, is this asset internal? Is it internet exposed? Is it UAT? Is it production? Is it comes under PCI compliance or HIPAA compliance or whatever? Or is it under not any such compliance? Is it a database? Is it a web app, web server, whatever? Um, and these are exactly the kinds of problems that we are solving with the Transilience vulnerability management app, which
Right.
we were discussing the other day,
Yes.
where taking in a Tenable or a Qualys output, and then also if you feed in the asset list, in whatever format you have. And that's the power of AI, right?
Yes, yes,
It
it
does
is.
a
It
pretty
is.
brilliant job of interpreting any Excel asset list with a vulnerability data set. With even now, we're building correlation with firewall configuration. So we'll be able to tell
Wow.
you how internal that asset is, and whether suppose you find something on SSL, for example, most tenable, at least 20-30% of a tenable or a Qualys output will be related to SSL, which is
Yes,
stuff like weak cipher supported or
of course.
self-signed certificate. And these issues on an internal server, which is, let's say, UAT,
Hmm.
is something that you can actually push very
Push.
much down
Yes.
the priority list, right?
Yes.
But in the absence of that context, and I think context is everything in this conversation, in in this scenario of vulnerability management. In the absence of that context, the tools will basically guess and try and figure things out, but not do a very good job of it. I mean,
Yes.
we've been studying Qualys reports, their true risk score in a lot of detail. So you'll find like Notepad plus plus denial of service vulnerability, right? Rated critical. I mean, I don't know what some attacker would do with a Notepad plus plus denial of service vulnerability. Like, what are they going to achieve? You know.
Yes.
So, and there are hundreds of such examples. If you look at a vulnerability scan report of 15,000, you'll find hundreds of such issues, which be like, this is such useless noise. And throwing this over to IT, it looks scary, the numbers look big. But when you boil it down, it's basically out of 10,000. Often we find it's about 100 vulnerabilities that really need the attention.
Yes, sometimes even we get this scolding from the development teams that why are you pushing so many findings? We are patching, don't worry.
So,
So,
given a large IT landscape, and then that like real estate is always expanding, it becomes a huge challenge. And then there are more tools, right? I'm sure that in the environments that you work with, the customers have like ASMs and BAS and CART and the
yes,
entire
yes,
alphabet soup of assessment capabilities. So all
yes.
that. So do these tools, for example, Vulcan previously or Viper now, do they also deduplicate between scan reports from different
Yes,
tools?
yes, yes. It does the deduplications.
Okay. And how good is that? Is it based on CV or is it beyond? Does it go beyond that?
It is mostly based on CVs
Right.
and
Right.
CVSS scores.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. So, Shalaka, let's say that there is a mid-sized financial services organization, or there is a healthcare organization, or a large financial organization. What would you say are some of the key components of a good vulnerability management program?
Okay, so for key components for vulnerability management program is to first to discover your assets, then to prioritize your vulnerabilities, and then remediate it with the stakeholders or the clients. And these are the things which comes to a good practice to keep your vulnerability management team intact, and also the vulnerabilities are duplicating or reopened, then we can also work on that and with the teams. Yeah, so this is how you can work on vulnerability management.
Right. Shalaka, one of the challenges that we have is that we report a lot of vulnerabilities. We draw up all these fancy charts and graphs and, metrics around severity, impact, etc., etc. Oftentimes, the business sees us as an impediment to their releases, to their innovation, right? So, how have you overcome that challenge? How do you kind of communicate the value that the vulnerability management program delivers to the business of the organization?
So for if you see for business related, then it is like you have to give them as a, it can be a compliance issue like PCI or HIPAA like that. Then they don't understand the vulnerability language, but in non-technical term, you can tell them that this can be a compliance issue. This can be audit issue. So to resolve that, it can be a big impact. if you don't patch these findings. So this is
Right.
how you make them understand that, yeah, this is the way you can patch, or these are the things that you should work on.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think business owners want to kind of read a lot of jargon
Yeah,
like
yeah.
IDOR and SQL injection and cross-site
Yes.
request forgery and serialization, DSL. I don't think they
They
want to
don't
deal with all of that.
understand this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Correct, correct. So, Shalaka, this is like such a fascinating area because, like, I've been in cyber for 24 years now, and
Wow.
we've been doing this vulnerability scanning and pen testing and red teaming, and for 20 plus years now, our industry has been doing this service and providing this output to our clients, and still we have not solved the problem of vulnerability prioritization.
Right.
It's still an unsolved problem. I'm pretty excited about what we are building with Transilience. But what keeps you kind of excited? What are you looking forward to in this domain?
So, yeah, AI can help us with the prioritization itself. So, asset, depending on the asset criticality and the CVs which we are getting. So, AI can help us, and I think AI is not a threat for us. It is a co-pilot, and we are fortunate that we are having this technology, and this is easing our work, and we can do like so many things with AI. The next step we can see into vulnerability management to ease our work with AI.
Yeah, we look forward to your inputs as we continue to develop the automation on
Yeah,
this
sure.
with the Transilience team. It was such a pleasure talking to you, Shalaka. Wish you all the best,
Thank you.
and thank you for your time today chatting with me.
Thank you. Thank you so much, KK.